Once upon a twilight morning, as the dew still danced on the petals, Orange Whisker the cat stretched on the stone fence behind Sheila's cottage. His orange fur shimmered like a golden flame, and his whiskers twitched with curiosity. That day, something strange filled the air. A breeze carrying the scent of jasmine and honey tickled his nose. It wasn't from any garden he knew. Orange Whisker followed the scent, past the rose bushes, past the sleepy bees, and past the edge of the forest where no one dared to go. But he was no ordinary cat. He was a guardian of good hearts and hidden wonders. As he stepped into the woods, the trees whispered his name. Suddenly, a patch of brambles parted on their own, revealing a glowing archway made of living vines and singing flowers. Whisker paused. His heart knew. This was the place. He leapt through. What opened before him was an unbelievable garden, the kind only dreams remember. There were tulips the size of umbrellas and butterflies with wings made of light. Waterfalls flowed backward into the sky. A tree sang lullabies in a soft grandmother's voice. Giant mushrooms whispered jokes, and when Whisker stepped onto the grass, it lit up in soft paw prints of blue and gold. A squirrel wearing a sapphire crown greeted him. "Welcome, Guardian Whisker. We've waited long." "Waited for me?" Whisker blinked. "Yes," said the squirrel. "Only the heart of a brave and kind soul can awaken this garden. It was sleeping until now." As Whisker explored, each corner of the garden bloomed brighter. He walked across lily pads that turned into floating lanterns. He sat beneath a tree that grew memories. Every leaf a moment of someone's joy. At the center stood a crystal fountain. Whisker touched the water with one paw, and suddenly visions shimmered above it. Sheila, smiling, the little birds she fed, the quiet mornings they shared. "This garden," the squirrel said, "grows from love, from the silent loyalty between hearts, from moments you gave, expecting nothing." Whisker didn't need to speak. He purred softly, his golden eyes glistening. As the sun dipped, he knew it was time to return. If you please share, and subscribe to support our channel. As the sun dipped, he knew it was time to return. Back through the archway, past the whispering trees, and to Sheila's doorstep, where she sat with a cup of tea, calling his name gently. He jumped into her lap, and she smiled. "You've been somewhere magical," she whispered, stroking his fur. Whisker just blinked slowly, the glow of the garden still flickering in his eyes. And from that day on, when Sheila tended her garden, flowers bloomed faster, brighter, and more beautiful than ever before. She never saw the magical one he'd found, but somehow she felt it. One soft, rainy afternoon, Orange Whisker sat by the window, his tail flicking like a metronome. Raindrops tapped a rhythm on the glass, and far in the distance, a strange light blinked in the woods, like a candle trying not to be forgotten. His ears perked. This wasn't ordinary light. He leapt off the windowsill and padded into the wet world, paused silent on the glistening earth. Trees swayed and whispered as if guiding him. He followed the flickering glow until he reached a clearing, one he had never seen before. There stood a gate made of braided vines and silver petals. A faded sign above read, "The Garden of Lost Wishes." Whisker stepped inside. The air shimmered with forgotten dreams. The garden was filled with glowing orbs, floating just above the flowers, some blue, some gold, some softly pink. Each one pulsed like a heartbeat. A voice floated on the wind. "These are wishes people once made, but never believed would come true." One orb drifted down toward Whisker. Inside it, he saw a little girl in a hospital bed, wishing to see her dog again. Another orb showed a lonely man, wishing he could talk to someone who truly listened. A third held a tiny voice saying, "I wish someone would believe in me." Orange Whisker purred, his heart full. Suddenly, the garden began to flicker, as if it might disappear. "Only one with a faithful heart," said the wind, "can carry these wishes back into the world." Whisker meowed once, loudly. In that moment, the orbs swirled around him like fireflies. One by one, they settled into his fur, glowing gently, carried not with weight, but with hope. When he returned home, Sheila was waiting with a towel and warm hands. If you please share, and subscribe to support our channel. As she dried him off, a spark passed from him to her. She paused. That night, she baked cookies and shared them with the quiet neighbor next door. for the first time in years. The next morning, a letter arrived from an old friend she thought she'd lost forever. By the end of the week, 3 people on her street were smiling again for reasons they couldn't explain. If you like, please like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. No one knew why, but things were getting better. And every night, Orange Whisker would curl up in Sheila's lap, purring softly, as if saying, wishes never really disappear. They just wait for someone to carry them home.